Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Papas and Tells, episode 5, Latinos in the US. We want to start off first, of course, by thanking everybody who's been subscribing to our channel, sharing it, liking it, tuning in, supporting us 100%. Honestly, the appreciation is overwhelming at times, but we are honestly enjoying every single step that we are doing as we're making these moves and making these episodes for you guys and getting your feedback. We're loving it. We're taking notes.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, everybody. It's been amazing, all the support, for friends, family, people we don't even know. So all our views are coming up every single week. So it's actually amazing. So thank you so much for everything. Like you said, today we're gonna talk about a little bit of our heritage, like being Latinos, like me being Colombian, Edgar from Guatemala. So when we move here to the US, like sometimes you start, like you embrace a lot of the American culture. And sometimes you forget about your roots, where you came from. Well, for me, definitely was different because like I moved being an adult, Edgar moved here being a baby. So
Let's hold that thought real quick. We're going to talk about our culture. Is that right?
yes,
So, if we're going to talk about our culture. We're going to talk about where we're from.
I think we should change a little bit our maybe our background or scenario.
Let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
Let's change this up.
So much better.
There we go. Well, since we enjoyed the change of scenery for last episode, why not do it in Antigua, Guatemala, guys? Here we are, live.
Yes.
Decided to switch up the scene just for you guys. So,
Yes, we decided to change a little bit our scenario. Like last week, we were in our
in our
backyard.
backyard.
Today we are in Antigua, Guatemala. So we're really, really excited. I think it will be a perfect scenario for us to just to talk about our like the subject of this episode, like the Latino and Hispanic culture in the U.S. So I think it will be perfect for us to be in my husband's birth country. Um, Later on, we're gonna record in Colombia. That will
Yes,
be really, really fun.
that will
But
be.
for now, we're just gonna do it here in Guatemala. So we're extremely excited to be here. It's my first time here in Guatemala, so it's actually pretty amazing. We are with all our families here. My family, my husband's family, little Ollie. I don't know if you guys can see it, but
No, they
he's right
can't.
there. Ollie, say hi. You say hi.
He's here. He's an
There
international
you go.
puppy.
So yeah, no. So let's talk about a little
Gro-
bit of like the Latino
growing
culture.
Latino in the United States. So,
Yes.
I mean, for him, completely different. He grew up in Colombia as
Yes.
growing up as a teenager up to your what 20s. Yeah.
Yes. Into my 20s.
I actually came here when I came here. I came to the States when I was 1 years old. We started off in California, lived there for about 2 years, and then we migrated to Hialeah, Miami, Florida. That's where I grew up, and that's where I had my childhood. And it was definitely, I mean, I was 1 years old when I moved over here, so it wasn't much like that I remembered. But it was a little bit culture shock, just because growing up with my family. When we moved to California, I lived with my uncles and aunts, so it was a big. It was like a lot of us in one house, and same thing in Hialeah. When we moved to Hialeah, we lived with my uncle, my aunt, and my three cousins. So it was 10 of us in a two-bedroom apartment.
It's
So
pretty intense.
with that being said, in Hialeah, us growing up, it was like a different environment. Like we started going to parties at a 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. Started learning how to dance at that age. My parents would stay out all late, all night with us, and we would, of course, we had no choice to be there with them. I think I tried my first alcoholic beverage when I was like 10 or 11. My dad gave me Johnny Walker Black, and he told me this is what real men drink. So that started my drinking.
That lessons.
But honestly, like coming to the States was a lot was different. It was like I had to learn a new language. I had to learn how to speak English and Spanish. So it was very confusing for me because growing up I was taught Spanish and only talked Spanish. So getting into that English culture and learning the English language was a little difficult for me. I mean, even still at times, I find it difficult to say certain words or pronounce certain words, just because even though I've lived in the States for God knows how long, I still have issues pronouncing words. But that's just me. But yeah, what about you, babe? Like growing up, well, he grew up in Colombia, but he came here when he was in his 20s. So what was the
Yeah.
culture shock for you from
Well,
Colombia to the
as I
States?
mentioned it before, it wasn't like a huge culture shock for me because when I was growing up, I grew up in like an American school, so like it was like a lot of American kind of related way.
Okay.
I don't know how to describe it though. So for me, it was not like a huge cultural shock when I moved to the States. Of course, I learned English since I was a little kid, so I mean, of course, I still have my accent. I mean, come on. I mean, I was just living in Colombia for 20 years plus, so definitely like I still have my accent, but it's not like a very strong accent that I have, like comparing to other people, like other Hispanics, But I grew up like like in my school, it was like teaching English all the time for like classes, all the classes, like the music, like movies, whatever, like, and of course I have family living in the States, so definitely for me wasn't like a huge thing that I was like, oh my God, what is this? It's a new world for me. Not at all. So when I moved when I was in my 20s, as you mentioned before, I moved to all the New York and New Jersey area. So definitely I liked living in the big city.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was like, okay, I'm here. Let's start. It was kind of crazy. Of course, living in a small apartment, um, but I make it happen. I mean, I think we talked about this before. I think I mentioned in another episode like how when I
Oh yeah,
start here in the state, oh here no, there in the
they're in the States.
states. So it was completely shocking for me, like to adjust, to like start
Yeah.
from
No, I'm sure.
step one, but at the same time, it was really fulfilling for me. I was like, I feel in the right place. This is what I want to be. This is what I want the things to make it happen for me.
Okay.
So right now I can complain. It's been like a whole journey all these years, but definitely has been worth it. The fact that right now we are able to enjoy life, and like take time off, traveling, like come on, like just the fact that we're here just talking to you guys and like in the one episode just decide to come all over to Guatemala. Like
Ah,
it's fantastic, so I'm really grateful for that. Um, definitely, like unfortunately, like for us, I don't think we have like a very strong bound with our Latino heritage, I will say so.
I mean, growing up for me, I think was a little.
No, but I said right now.
Oh, right now, no, yeah, no.
Like
I
right
think
now,
we're definitely more
unfortunately.
Americanized, and it happens.
Yeah.
When me and my family first started living in the States and growing up in the States, it was definitely a culture shock, just because my parents still hold on to the traditions very strongly. Like when we lived in our apartment, a two-bedroom apartment with 10 people, there was only one TV, and that was in the living room. And we watched whatever they were watching. We had no option but to watch whatever we were watching, whatever they were watching. My parents were very strict. We couldn't go out, only in the house. And lucky us, I mean, we lived in an apartment building where there was a lot of course, different types of families out there. Like we had Dominicans, Cubans, name it. They were all living in that apartment complex. That's why mostly my thick accent, I sound more Cuban than Guatemalan, and that's what people always tell me when they meet me. They're like, "Are you Cuban?" I'm like, "No, I'm from Guatemala." Like, you don't have an accent. I'm like, "Yeah, because I grew up in Miami, so it was very Cubanized, Miami-wise, as you can say." But yeah, like my parents were very strict with us. Like we all had to have dinner together. We had to have breakfast together. It's typical Hispanic family. My dad was the breadwinner. My mom did work, but her money was just for us to have fun. And my mom, she cooked, she cleaned, she took care of all of us, took care of my dad. Uh, yeah, typical, Hispanic culture. Like I said, even growing up, we didn't start having like more freedom until like probably like 12 or 13 years old, when my dad would start allowing me to like go outside for a little bit, and it was only for like an hour or two. It was very restricted, just because that's how it was for them growing up. Like their parents were way more stricter. than they were with us. Don't get me wrong. I mean, during that time, it wasn't frowned upon to beat your kids, not beat them, but hit them. My dad tend to take it a little bit too far, unfortunately, as I told you from my daddy issues episode. Yeah, my dad was, unfortunately doing what he did to my sisters, but he also had no shame on beating us with the belt. So that was also kind of an abusive part on his, and like anytime we got in trouble, we would get our ass beat with the belts. Like it was no joke.
That's a very Hispanic thing, I would say.
Yeah,
So
like there
like
was, like we were in
a
trouble. We were in
chancla.
no, it wasn't chocolate. It was a belt. Like my dad didn't play. Like he would sometimes make us pick the belt that we wanted to get our ass whooped with, and yeah, I mean, like I said, like it got us to be strict and be mindful about what we were doing, and taught us to have manners. Because unfortunately, I feel like nowadays kids don't get hit, and they're disrespectful as fuck, and they're rude, and they don't know how to talk to people, and that's the problem now. Like with this generation growing up, like they think they can do whatever they want, and fortunately, the kids who are having kids, is what I call it, because that's what they are. They're still kids. You're still, if you're like in your teens, you're not an adult yet. You're still learning. It's still a learning process. They don't get hit, and they're disrespectful. They're mouthful. They don't know how to act in restaurants. And like for us, like growing up, if we couldn't even talk when we were in restaurants. If we did talk, it was to have conversations. But if we started even to cry or make any scene, we will get pulled to the bathroom, get our ass beat, and then go back to the table. Like we couldn't cry. Like that. Like if we were crying for no reason, my dad was like, "I'm gonna give you a reason to cry," and he would definitely give us a reason to cry. But I think that's a lot in our generation growing up. Like that's how it was. Like you got your ass beat, and that's how you learn, and that's how you learn how to be respectful and not act up in restaurants and be. How what's the word? Like just I don't know what word I'm looking for, but so yeah, that was kind of my childhood growing up. And it wasn't, like I said, until 12 or 13 that I was able to like start experiencing freedom and knowing what it was to hang out with like friends and being out and about. And then of course the reason why my dad always didn't want me in the house for other reasons, but we won't get into that subject because that's not the subject that we're getting into.
Okay, you're lost already. Like what we're talking about. We're talking about Latino, and you just went like growing up and like.
I know, because that was me, Latino, growing up in the States. Like
Okay,
that,
but like like what I was saying was like the right now. I don't think we're very like attached to our heritage
oh
in
no.
Latino because unfortunately, like we live in a different environment, and like for example, for us, we never speak Spanish at home, like ever. Like
No, we
in
don't.
our like
And when
for
I
us,
have,
it's like
he looks at me
20.
weird. He's like, "Why are you talking in Spanish?" I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry."
I mean, he said like one or two words, and that's it. I'm like, or sometimes he tries. I'm like, babe, it's fine. Like, come on. Like, I can.
My Spanish is very broken. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's not as
So,
fluent as I would like it to be.
but like, that's sometimes I feel that's very unfortunate because like some people think it's like, oh, like yeah, how's the Colombian culture in Vegas and how's this? I'm like, I have no idea.
Vegas has no culture,
I
guys.
have no. I mean, they have a different type of culture. It's not
More
like they don't
Mexican
have
culture, I would say
culture.
so.
It's yeah, but that's not a bad thing. I
No,
say
that,
like Vegas culture is more like the gambling, casino, like all
oh
these
yeah,
environment. Of course, it's
partying.
not like the cultural side that like Hispanics we have. So like I don't have Colombian friends. Like we have some Hispanic friends, of course, but they're all in the same page as us. Like they grew
Americanized.
up in the States. They never speak Spanish, so we're like a very Americanized circle, I would say so. So, like right now we're here in Guatemala, and I'm just like I'm asking for something, and I start speaking English. I'm like, fuck,
I have to
like
keep
I
reminding him.
forgot.
I'm like,
Yeah, I was
I'm
like,
the one trying to talk in
yeah, I was
Spanish, and
like,
I get stuck
I
on my
keep
words.
forgetting, and
And I'm asking him to speak, and he's speaking in English.
I'm speaking in English. I'm answering in English. I'm like, no, come on, like it's just like that's very unfortunate because like my main language is Spanish. Like that's my mother language. So of course, like being in this environment, sometimes I feel it's like, come on, man, like don't forget where you came from. Don't forget that you are like Colombian, that you're Hispanic, that you have this Latino heritage. But trust me, if I go to like the East Coast and I Miami, I'm gonna like North Carolina or New York or whatever, and I see like food, and I'm getting super excited about the whole Latino
Oh
food.
yes,
I get like mind blowing.
Miami.
I'm like, oh my god, I want to eat absolutely everything.
Miami is the best for like Latino food, to be quite honest. I mean, you get a little bit of
Yeah,
everything: Dominican, Puerto Ricans, El Salvadorians, Colombians, you name it. They have the
best
culture
food
there in Miami is
ever.
honestly amazing. It's the culture that I grew up with and live in, so it's something that I enjoyed. And moving to Vegas was definitely like a shock because I thought Vegas was going to be more culturized, and it definitely was not.
Oh, for sure. No, yeah.
So it was different. I love living in Miami, but you know, unfortunately, Miami did you can get in trouble in Miami. You can get in trouble anywhere, to be quite honest,
Mm.
depending where you live. So
I mean, it's. I think you can see more of the Latino culture, big cities like LA, San Diego, uh,
New York,
Miami, New York, New Jersey. There's a lot of like Latino, like right now, like North Carolina, Atlanta. Have like so much like Latino culture. So
yep,
those are places that you can actually feel like you embrace that, and you remember like all these nice things, like because it's not like Americans doesn't have culture. It's just a completely different world. So like for us, it's completely different. We see more like family related, like the traditions from hundreds of years. Like food, like grandmas passing these recipes. It's a lot of like different things that when we live in the states and places like Vegas, you start to forget,
you really do.
and you just like, let's just get some smoothies and
Acai
and
bowls,
acai bowls and some protein shakes and some fast food. Unfortunately, so
yeah.
um, it's just like completely different for us. But
Especially that
you
we don't have family in Vegas.
Yeah,
That's the
that's another part.
like,
We
we
don't have
really
any family in Vegas, so like our family are it's our friends. Like
yes,
they're
and we
all
love
our
them.
friends. We
Don't you guys get
love
that
our
wrong?
friends.
We love you
That's
guys.
what we consider. That's what I say family
Yeah.
because we consider them family because they're like it's a very close and tight circle. But they're our family. So when we travel to the East Coast where all our family are, so it's like okay, now we feel at home. Now this is home. Now it's like let's try this, let's eat this, we sleep better. I
Yes.
know it's a completely different thing,
The Miami of me comes out when I go to Miami.
Oh, absolutely, for
The
sure.
little ratchetness comes out because I'm very, I try to be civil. I try to make sure people don't know that I'm ratchet anymore, but it comes out every so often. People are like, "Oh, the fuck?" And I'm like, "Y'all forget I'm from Miami. I grew up 305, guys. All right, this is Dade County, true to heart. Okay."
But
But
yeah, no, it's a pretty interesting twist, that your life does when you like switch environments, and like you go for like a first world country, like the U.S. So it's
and what I really love, like when we've traveled, like when we travel to Colombia and now we travel here to Guatemala, it does humble you. To be quite honest,
oh,
it
absolutely,
humbles
for
you because
sure.
we as Americans is what I can say is that we take things for granted
Yeah,
so much,
absolutely,
and
yeah.
we have no idea how spoiled we truly are,
Yeah,
and
spoiled, we're
we
lucky,
are
like,
we're very fortunate
yeah,
for what
we're
we
very
have.
lucky,
And like I
yeah.
said, sometimes we take things for granted and we really don't sit back and we like, damn, like we have what people dream they could have. And it's not being like cocky or conceited or
Yeah,
any of
no, it's
that. It's just
just,
honestly like growing up American, we have a lot more than what we think of. And the problem with Americans is because everyone wants that picture perfect. Like you gotta have money, you gotta have name brands, you gotta have this, you gotta have that. It's a certain what's the word I'm looking for?
status.
Yeah, certain status that you gotta have as growing up as American, and if you don't, you're like it's like frowned upon or like they judge
Yeah,
you.
or you're a failure.
Yeah,
You don't succeeding as you're supposed to succeed.
and that's not the case, and we tend to forget that. So like coming here definitely humbles me every time we go to a different country, or when I've traveled to
Yes.
Guatemala, we travel to Colombia, and we come back. I'm like I get super humble because I'm like I really forget to like sit back and appreciate everything that we have. Like we have a beautiful home, we have a beautiful family. We're lucky enough to have what we have, and especially for all of us growing up Americans, we tend to
Yeah.
forget that, and we gotta just sit back and just be humble and be like,
Yeah.
be just thankful for what we have,
I
guys.
know.
And
So for all our American friends, like just travel, go out,
yeah,
it's amazing, how can you embrace like these cultures, and the Latino culture is fantastic, and unfortunately we decided never get into politics in the podcast, but unfortunately right now we're in a tough situation in our country, the US, like about the Latino Hispanic culture. So
We gotta
and
stick
we don't
together.
want, like, we if we can be like advocates for people, don't forget that, because you're afraid, or you are in a tough situation in the US, just our country, the US, like about the Latino Hispanic culture. So
We gotta
and
stick
we don't
together.
want, like, we if we can be like advocates for people, don't forget that, because you're afraid, or you are in a tough situation in the US, just don't forget that,
Yeah.
like
Embrace your culture.
embrace your culture,
Embrace your
be
heritage.
proud,
Yes.
and like be proud, like
Don't forget where you came from, where your natural
nah,
roots are.
yeah,
Just because now you're Americanized and you've been there for God knows how
yeah,
long, that people tend to forget their roots, and it's unfortunate. So we really hope we're able to help you guys. Like, remember, remind yourself of your roots, your heritage, your family, where they come from. Know the history,
yeah,
know the land, know everything about it. People always ask us, like, how do we get to travel so much and why we're traveling so much? It's because we do our best to make sure that we take advantage of what we can,
yeah,
and we'll save up, we'll stack up, we'll work our asses off to be able to enjoy these type of things. And the fact that now that we can actually share this with you guys, it's a privilege for us,
yeah,
and it's something that we want to keep sharing with you. And I hope you guys do enjoy our progress, and
yeah,
how we grow with you guys, our viewers. We, like I said, thank you, like, for everything, guys. Like, I know this is going to be a journey for both of us and for you guys as well, just to learn how we do things and how we go about it. But this is just us being us. We want to be authentic as always, and we will stay
yeah,
authentic. We look at the comments, we take the feedback, but at the same time we're always going to just be true to ourselves. We're not going to change who we are, just not, unfortunately, not to please you guys, but we want to stay, like I said, we want to stay real.
yeah, for sure, yeah, no. So again, like we said in every single episode, thank you so much, everybody, for watching us, for the
Yes.
comments, positive, negative, whatever it is like, it's amazing to have all these feedback all the time, that you guys take the time to see our stories, to listen to us, like to get involved, and like definitely like understand or feel related to like our stories, or
What we've
like
been through, our
our
experiences.
comments, or whatever we said, like it's amazing. So thank you so much, everybody, and like
Yes.
let's see our next episode, where it's gonna take us. We're gonna
Yes.
talk about open
Open
relationships.
relationships. So it's gonna get a little
Uh,
spicy,
a
a little
little.
spicy. And we hope you guys enjoy it too.
Yeah.
But
So
thank you for tuning in.
yeah, and we will be back in our home in the next episode for
Yes.
sure. We're back at home. So for now, we're just gonna keep enjoying Guatemala. We got
Yes.
just a couple more days here with
Mhm.
Ollie, with our families. So
Oh, happy
uh,
Mother's Day to the moms too,
happy
because
Mother's
it is
Day.
Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So please say thankful to your mothers, and for those, unfortunate not enough to have your mother around, you know, we're so grateful for our moms, even the dads who are the moms. Like, that is the thing. Like, there's dads who would play both roles, and you guys
Yes.
are moms, and we're thankful for all of our moms, for our grandmas, for everybody. You get, like, moms have a tough job, and we take advantage of our moms, unfortunately. So we want to literally thank mom. Thank you, mom.
Yeah. Thank you,
You,
Mom.
yeah,
Of
thank you,
course.
mom. We love you guys.
Yeah.
Stay tuned in, guys,
Stay
for next
tuned.
episode. All right.
Thank you, guys. I love you.
Love you.